Reports of 11 bomb threats made against Jewish centers across the United States. That's happened. Now we've got Hillary Clinton tweeting about that. Listen to this. JCC threats, cemetery desecration, and online attacks are so troubling, and they need to be stopped. Everyone must speak out, starting with the President of the United States. Come on in, please. David Rubin, the former mayor of Shiloh, Israel, frequent contributor to this program. It makes it sound like Mr. Trump's to blame for these attacks on Jewish cemeteries.
Well, first of all, President Trump has already spoken out.
Spoken out
very clearly this morning. And look, the attacks, we know about the neo-Nazis. We've always heard about that, but we don't even know who these attacks are from.
Well, has the Trump administration fostered a feeling of hatred and violence? Because that's the implication from what the left is saying.
There is great division in the country, but I don't think that it comes from Trump. It was a very divisive campaign. And I think we need to be talking about the Islamo-Nazis, and we need to be talking about the far-left Nazis, because the main anti-Semitism today is coming from the left and from the Muslims.
Okay. Got that?
That's something that we tend to ignore. And look,
is that the feeling in the Jewish community in America?
Well, I think that it should be. I don't know. I know that there are many Jewish liberals who are out there at these ridiculous "I am a Muslim too" rallies. Does that mean that they support jihad? Does it mean that they support holy war against all non-Muslims? If they're saying "I am a Muslim too," does that mean that they support wife-beating, which is prevalent in Islam? And does that mean that they support having 4 wives, which is prevalent in Islam? I don't think that they support those things in the liberal Jewish world.
I think I'm warming you up. I can sense that was a pretty strong response. Well done, Your Honor.
But that is the reality.
I understand.
We have to be honest about this.
Will you address Melania Trump, First Lady, leading a rally in Florida over the weekend by saying the Lord's Prayer?
I thought it was great.
You did?
Absolutely. I thought that that saying a prayer is something that is traditional. Started with George Washington. George Washington said a prayer at the Hebrew congregation of Savannah, Georgia. And he said to the congregation of Jews, and he said, "I call on the divine providence to bless these United States of America through this congregation." George Washington understood the book of Genesis, chapter 12, that says, "I will bless those that bless you, and him who curses you, I will curse." That's a blessing that comes through Israel. George Washington understood it, and I think the whole concept of saying a prayer is a wonderful thing, and I thought that the First Lady said that. I thought it was great.
Were you shocked when she did it? Because I was surprised. I'm not shocked, but I was surprised. And I've been taught for a long time that Jewish folks would be unhappy at the recitation of a Christian prayer in a public place because you would feel excluded, or that Christians are trying to proselytize.
I wouldn't feel excluded at all. This is the United States is a predominantly Christian country. There's absolutely nothing wrong with saying a Christian prayer. I think that prayer in general is a good thing to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and they are praying to the same God. And you know, I also thought that it was a blessing for legal immigration, because Melania said her prayer in her Slovenian accent, which is a very, very strong Slovenian accent, and there were tweeters who were writing, "Did you hear her? She couldn't even speak. She couldn't." And they're ridiculing her because she has a Slovenian accent. If she had an Islamic accent, you would not hear any criticism.
You're right. I do need your comment on there's this controversy about crime levels, rape and murder in particular, in Sweden, following the influx of large numbers, I think it's 160,000 Muslim migrants. There's a controversy about that. Where do you stand on this? Because you know something about this subject, I think.
Well, I was in Sweden 35 years ago, some 35 years ago, as a college student. And I was visiting my Swedish girlfriend there at the time, and I remember walking through the streets of Malmo, where she lived, and everything was carefree. Everything was, you know, we could walk at all hours of the night, and the Swedes were just a freewheeling, happy people, as I felt it at that time. People would walk in the parks at night, and there was no feeling of fear. Okay, 35 years later, I've had 2 speaking tours in Sweden, and the fear is, you can feel it, it's palpable. The rise of the rapes of Muslim men on Swedish women is just skyrocketing. It's going through the roof. In the past 10 years, it's increased 70%. But we're talking about over the span of time of those 35 years, as Muslim immigration to Sweden has increased, people are living in fear, especially in cities like Malmö.
Do you feel comfortable walking around any place in Europe now wearing a yarmulke?
I never take this off my head except when I sleep and take a shower, and it doesn't matter what country I'm in. But yes, there definitely was concern. I was always accompanied by people who were, by my hosts and so on. But there are certain areas that I was told that Swedes dare not go because they are controlled by the Muslim immigrants, and they're going to be attacked if they go in there.
We appreciate your input on all these subjects, David, and you're a welcome guest on the program. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Stuart.
Yes, sir.